Hey cats and kids, Captain Zorik here from an undisclosed location. I just wanted to follow up a little bit on my review of the Marvels movie that I just saw earlier tonight. Didn't want to wait till the day because I got a very busy day, and I even want to see if I can't put this all together and put it up on YouTube before the sun comes up, but we'll see. Anywho, okay, cats and kids, let's see if it'll stick this time. Hey, Captain Zorik here, and I just wanted to follow up on my review of The Marvels, which I saw earlier tonight, because there was some stuff that didn't quite fit into what I said that I wanted to say. See, a lot of it had to do with the costumes that the characters were wearing. Ms. Marvel, Kamala showed up in a costume very much like the one that she wears in the comics. And on it was a logo that was basically a copy of the lightning bolt-like fragment of the necklace that she had worn in the TV series. The fragment had been found at the end of the big climactic fight in the final episode, and it just happened to match the zigzag of the lightning bolt of Ms. Marvel in the comics. So there was that, and that was, I always like it when the movie costume strongly resembles, at the very least, the comic book costume. Likewise, Carol Danvers' Captain Marvel suit still had the same pattern as the one in the comics. Blue body, red yoke and shoulders with the star and the inverted chevron, with the apex of it being, or would it be the depex because it's pointing down, on the 8-pointed compass star, sometimes called the Hala star after the home planet Hala. It's got some kind of religious significance in the comics, I think, but it seems to be a mark of rank in the Kree army in the movies, but it was of a different structure than in the first Captain Marvel movie. A little bit more form-fitting, a little bit tighter fitting, more like a wetsuit or something, rather than the original suit, which was described as rubber by Samuel L. Jackson's character. It looked more like leather, like a biker suit, which justifies the biker guy being attracted to her in that scene in the first Captain Marvel movie. It also looked like what's her name, Brie Larsen was thinner this time around. Interesting choice to go with a thinner physique rather than the muscular physique she built for herself the first time around. Monica Rambeau was wearing the black and white suit that was the uniform of Scepter, the basically Earth versus Aliens defense organization that she was a member of. Now, those were their uniforms, their costumes, their outfits at the beginning of the movie. As the movie progressed, they wound up in civilian clothes and wound up on another planet in civilian clothes. It happens to be a planet that exists in the comic books, in which the people all speak in song and rhyme. In fact, in the movie, they clarified that if you don't speak in song and rhyme, they simply won't understand you. It's like a language. And they actually made a little joke about that towards the end of right about at the end of the scene there. I'm not going to spoil that for you because it's a good joke. It's a good gag. But at this place, they're always dancing, they're always partying, and they can make you a new costume instantly, apparently, and so everybody got new outfits. Carol Danvers was the same overall, except the red and blue was reversed, and the star was bigger, and it wasn't a perfect compass star. The horizontal points, east and west, were angled up a little, which echoes the way that star was sometimes drawn, particularly during Genisville, when he was Captain Marvel. The angle of the yoke that on the male Captain Marvels was blue up top and red on the bottom followed the underside of the line of the angle of the triangular point on the side of the star, depending upon who drew it. And so sometimes the way it would be drawn, if his arms were up, it would look like the east and west points were up. And so I guess that's why they chose to make that star look like that on Captain Marvel, this new costume that she got at that planet. But I don't know why they then also went with Captain Marvel's second costume's original color, which was red body and blue yoke, when she had been wearing a blue body with a red yoke all along, except at the end of Avengers Endgame, she came back to Earth and had the red body and blue yoke. Now, that was obviously a post-production choice, because in photographs of the shooting of the big battle scene at the end of Avengers Endgame, Carol Danvers was wearing the blue body and red yoke that she'd been wearing all through the movie and all in the first movie, all in the Captain Marvel movie. But when on screen at the end of Avengers Endgame, she had switched them to Marvel's original colors. So likewise, in the Marvels, her new costume has the red body and the blue yoke of the original Marvel, his second costume. His first costume, of course, being the white one with the green highlights, that was reinterpreted in the movies to be black with green highlights. In any event, Ms. Marvel wore a variant on the outfit she'd been wearing at the start of the movie, and a notable part of it was the red scarf. In the comics, Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel, wears a red scarf with her outfit in tribute to, I guess you could say, Carol Danvers' red scarf when she first became Ms. Marvel. That red scarf was notoriously infamous for being grabbed no fewer than 3 times by supervillains. Let me say it this right now. Let me say it in English. 3 times, there we go, by supervillains, thereby inhibiting her ability to fight. Well, that was sort of answered in this movie by, I'm not going to spoil it for you again. Let's just say that the scarf wound up being practical in a fight in this movie. So that was a nice touch. Monica Rambeau, she had a costume that was basically adapted from the black and white costume that was her uniform for Scepter, which in turn had been an adaptation of the costume that she is currently wearing in Marvel Comics, involving black and white. Although it was the blacks and whites were much more complicated in her new costume that she had gotten on this alien planet. In WandaVision, her costume was much like Captain Marvel's second costume, Carol Danvers' costume, a shoulder yoke of one color and the body of another. I believe the body was white and the shoulder yoke black, and it had a star or flame-like design as like the unit logo or the organizational logo on her chest that was counterchanged to the black and white, meaning the part of it that was over the white part was black, the part of it that was over the black part was white. Wasn't quite that way in the movie. The blacks were like in these strips and shapes around her. It didn't have the sleek simplicity that her original Scepter uniform had. And Monica Rambeau's costumes always had been simple and sleek. Even the costume that she put together out of a warehouse of Mardi Gras costumes, it was relatively simple. It had these drapey sleeves, had the multi-pointed star, had the mask, and black tights under it, you know? It was, so, I'm not sure, but whatever, at least being black and white, it was in tribute to that part of the comic book costume. So those were just little trivial notes about the costumes that I wanted to point out that happened in the movie. And oh yeah, here's another harken to the comics and the names of the characters. All right. In the comics, Carol Danvers has been known as, in order, the head of security at Cape Canaveral, the editor-in-chief of Woman magazine, and then Ms. Marvel, and then Binary, and then Warbird, and then she was Captain Marvel in the House of M, then came back and became Ms. Marvel again, and then eventually took on the mantle of Captain Marvel. Monica Rambeau has been named, first she was Captain Marvel, then Photon, then Pulsar, and then Spectrum, and now is back to being Photon again. Personally, I like Spectrum the best because it most explains her powers. She can basically transform herself into any part of the electromagnetic spectrum. Whereas the name Pulsar, I'm not quite sure how that relates to what she is. I mean, pulsars do shoot out electromagnetic signals, but with a curious rhythm that people have thought may be signs of intelligent life. But Monica Rambeau doesn't do that. She can do anything she wants with her electromagnetic powers. In fact, for a while, she was even not human. She was electromagnetic energy. She just chose to form it into the appearance of what she looked like when she had been human. But recently, she went through a thing and went back to being human, who could transform into light again, as opposed to simply being light. But anyway, and when she was named Photon, one villain pointed out, "Ooh, that's a scary name. Look, I am a weightless piece of light that will bounce off of something. I am a weightless particle that will bounce off of something and go into your eye so you can see it." You know, Photon, yeah, not the strongest of all possible names, but that's her name now in the comics. And so in the marketing of this movie, everyone's saying, and Monica Rambeau is Pulsar. Is Photon. And Teyonah, what's her name, is playing Photon. You know, but she never is actually given a name. When she shows up, when Kamala Khan first meets her, she finds out, "You've got powers? Oh, what's your superhero name?" "Oh, I don't have a superhero name." "We'll workshop it." No. So I like that dynamic between them, how Kamala Khan was the fangirl, ever effervescent in her fanishness and just living the fanfic. Only it's not fanfic, it's fact now, because she's living it. Oh boy, what I always wanted to do. And Monica Rambeau is not so much enamored with the superhero life, a little cynical about it. In fact, she just does it because she can and it needs to be done, but she's not up to having a nickname, right? So throughout a good section of the movie, and it becomes a running joke of Kamala Khan coming up with names and basing it all on or around, well, a lot of them are based around the name Marvel, you know, but she can't say she can't be a Captain Marvel because there's already Captain Marvel. That's Carol Danvers. So she just goes through, including one name that references the first name that she picks references Wizard of Oz. I'm not going to give it away if you've never seen The Wizard of Oz. If you haven't seen The Wizard of Oz, go see it. You're all like humans on Earth ought to see that movie, at least when they're, multiple times when they're young. Anyway, and she hits all those names that Monica Rambeau used in the comics, but none of them stick. She just blows through them along with a whole bunch of other names. So that's one of those Easter eggy things that only if you read the comics you're going to get. But I just gave it to you. But at the end, in the mid-credit scene, there's a pre-credit scene, a mid-credit scene, and a post-credit scene. Well, there isn't really a post-credit scene, but there is a sound effect at the end of the credits that's worth listening to. Anyway, in the mid-credit scene, there is a shout-out, a reference to one of Carol Danvers' characters that hasn't been seen in the movies yet. And I'm not going to give it away, but it's a strong reveal. And when you put that character, the actor who plays that character, and the character that that actor plays and the other character that's in the scene, aside from the character that's been in the movie all along that is in that scene, then that makes your head explode by saying, oh my God, does this mean that? And as I explained before, this could either be a setup for a series, I think it might make an interesting series, or a movie in which the two realities, the two, dimensions come together. Or it could also play and serve and be dramatically satisfying, frankly, if it's one of those and then she was never heard from again kind of scenes that maybe is resurrected sometime in the future. You know, it would not fail dramatically if that's what it was. Of course, I would be very saddened because I want to see those characters that were in that scene. I want to know more about this dimension. I want to know what happened, and I want to know if this dimension is actually one of the dimensions in one of the other movies, and which of the other movies. Could be this one, could be that one. I want to know. So those are just little things that a couple of things that I wanted to expound upon that I didn't get a chance to in my actual review. And if you've been watching this on YouTube, then thank you for sticking around through this double review. And for all the rest of you, yeah, I haven't been getting much sleep. For everyone else, or for all of you anyway, haven't been getting much sleep, and that's why we've got this build-up of circles under my eyes. And I don't always look so heavily lidded. It's just that the camera's here. All right, now I'm looking at the camera. But when I'm trying to look at myself when I do these talks to make sure that I'm looking at something, I look like this, with this slightly heavy-lidded look. All right, so just wanted to cover that base. So thank you for watching Captain Marvel Culture, the only YouTube channel, or the only, I'm on several social medias, Blogspot, Facebook, even MySpace. MySpace, YouTube, I think that's pretty much covers it. That is exclusively about all the Captain Marvels. All right, so I love you all. Captain Zorik is coming at you.